Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Canadian Drag Racing Hall of Fame Gala Event and Celebration.
On aimerait faire une minute de silence, s'il vous plaît, c'est important, pour nos amis qui ne sont pas ici.
We'd like to, before we get things underway, have a moment of silence. It'll be a minute, so you can bow your heads and think about someone that perhaps you've lost, either through racing or other. Thank you. Merci.
Merci beaucoup.
Che un sole se ne scende, mi vede quasi una malinconia sotto la finestra, l'oriale sta quando fanno Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's have a nice round of applause for our first inductee of 2018, Brian Browell.
Thank you very much. Who knew that little trip back in the 60s to St. Thomas Dragway would end up here? This is pretty amazing. I don't know what to say other than that. This is pretty special, for sure. And I want to thank everybody that put this on.
Congratulations. Thank you. Thank you, Brian. I'll give you the phone.
There's your Graduate Lifetime ring. Everything works. And hasn't forgot how to win. All the best, congratulations, and welcome to the hall. Il y a un gars qui a compétitionné avec la même voiture pendant 39 ans, je crois. De Saint-Tite, Québec, j'aimerais vous présenter avec une bonne main d'applaudissements, Yves Périgny. 39 years with the same race car, and he finally got the national record last year with the brand new car.
Merci beaucoup à tout le monde qui m'ont tout le temps encouragé, ma famille, ma conjointe, mes deux partenaires, Roger Lafontaine et Guy. Roger. Puis merci à Guy Desjardins qui nous aide de toutes les façons possibles. Puis bonne soirée à tout le monde.
Merci beaucoup, Yves, et félicitations. Let's bring to the stage for induction tonight, Bruce Beagler, Drag Race Canada.
Thank you, Bob. Appreciate it. Hello, everybody. I'm really happy to be here. I just want to make a comment that it's such a beautiful crowd here. I spent a lot of time in the pit area. And believe me, when we're around the pit areas, people are not dressed up like this, and it's really a pleasure to see everybody cleaned up and trimmed like this. It's beautiful. I want to thank John and Bob for the honor of inviting me to this party. Spectacular. I'm extremely honored, too, to be selected among such an elite group of nominees. I want to congratulate everybody else that's been nominated tonight. There. But my biggest thank has to go to my beautiful wife, Myrna, who throughout my media career stood behind me putting up with all those countless void weekends while I've been away at racing events, and she's been holding the fort at home.
For the first time in the history of the Canadian Drag Racing Hall of Fame, we are breaking ground tonight with our first woman inducted into the Hall of Fame.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We do have a great deal of thanks to show for John Scotty's vision of the Canadian Drag Racing Hall of Fame, and of course the chairman, Bob Overton, the board member, and to all your inductees and fellow drag racers. Since 1985 to the present, DRAW has provided over $4 million to over 900 drag racing families or crew members. No, Wally Clark, you can't get any aid, even though you were racing to get here. Without the generous support of unpaid volunteers, all the support from racers, fans, and track owners, and corporate sponsors, DRAW would not exist today. Special thanks I give to Bogus Bob Elliott for nominating me, and last but not least, my husband Bob, our family, and all the track reps, especially Vicki Crofton, who couldn't be here this evening, for their continued support and love. DRAW is fast help for fast friends. And through DRAW, and by the way, it's not just for women, it is also for men. At the present time, the president is a gentleman, and we will continue from here forward. We do it all because we care. Thank you.
Let's have a nice round of applause for Robert Park. And Judy.
First off, I'm going to make this short, please. I have one thing to say after. I have three families here. Three families, very important to me. You know, the bunch of them right over there, those are my immediate family. Okay, my oldest daughter, my wife are here. My cousin Dean, Bob Davidson. He hasn't got his wife with him. Anyway, Dean and Sue are here. And Rob Potter, who's right here. And I think you know, what's your wife's name? Susanna. Susanna. Very good, very good. The second family is my Can-Am Series family. How many of you guys are here? Put your hands up. It's amazing, these guys. I raced with them all season long for the last, 8 or 9 years. And they support me, and I support them for everything they do. And I hope you guys have a series as successful as we have. And the third one are the rest of you guys that I meet every week or every month or so on the road, because I do a lot of NHRA. There's no more IHRA for us guys, but and I enjoy all your friendship. And je parle français un peu, and I try very hard to speak your French. It's the best I can do, but and I know you laugh at me, but I enjoy you guys. You're cool. All right. One more person to thank. Pardon me. I missed something there. The most important people the last time I won something, the most important people I missed were my family. You know, some of them are gone now, but wherever you are, wherever you are, I want to thank you for supporting me all the years. And the one last person I got to talk about is my father. My father, he's been gone 25 years. He instilled in me the zest for life. And you see me out there doing crazy things on the dance floor. All right? But my father raced once, one day. Okay, he supported me in everything I did. but he only ever saw me race once. And one day when I was going to a wedding or something, he went with my buddy to a drag race at Cayuga, and he went down the track one time, and he won that race. And from that day on, that race, and he beat one of the guys that are here, and I'm not going to tell you who it is. He knows who it is, but it doesn't matter. From that day on, that race exponentially got bigger and bigger and bigger. It's like he won top fuel at the U.S. Nationals. And he was my hero from day one, and I love that old fellow. He would have been 100 this year. Thank you very much for my speech. I tried to be short.
Thanks, Robert. Okay, hang on a second. From C to Z. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce Mr. Paul Noakes. Come on up here, Paul. Congratulations.
I'd also like to thank my biggest sponsor, my mother and my father. My mother, I lived the dream for a lot of years, living in her house, not having to worry about things like rent and food, so I could chase my dream. And my father, I kind of wish he would have put a hockey helmet in my hand, and maybe I would have been retired by now with lots of money, but instead he gave me a race car helmet instead of fire gloves and said, "Good luck, kid." So I'd do it all again though, Dad. I appreciate it. I've been doing this for 30 years, and I'll continue to do it. Thank you.
Great words, Paul. Let's bring to the stage Brian Philbrick and his number one fan, Leah
It's been a
Philbrick.
long good time. I've met a lot of great people, and there's no better sport in the world as far as I'm concerned. Thank you very much.
And I would like to bring to the stage now, long awaited, up on the stage to be inducted, finally, Peter McRitchie and his wonderful wife, Michelle Zammit. Peter McRitchie.
Well, the first I gotta thank you two gentlemen. This brings so much honor to me and what you've done for the Canadian fraternity that have been lost in the shuffle of U.S. award shows or whatever you call it. So this is just great what you guys put on, and I thank you for the thought of putting me into the award ceremony. It just from my early beginnings in my teens, where I hung around with another Canadian legend of the day, Lance Hill, and a super stock Camaro and pro stock Camaro he had. So to think that a teenager on me driving down the highway, going to divisional races, national events, driving a ramp truck, being the crew guy, and then getting into the 70s, I put a car together myself, set national record in 1977, 78. Then I got hooked up with a fellow from Pennsylvania, and the two of us teamed up in 1979 and chased all the divisional races, and we ended up accumulating enough points to be the 1979 Division I Superstock champions, to carry the number 11 into the 1980 series, the 1980 year, to be the division champions. And we had a good time, and then we parted our ways, and then I just sort of retired myself now, and I'm just a cheerleader of the F.J. Smith promoted Can-Am series in Southern Ontario. I'm still actively involved, just hanging around, getting in the way, and I love doing it. Thank you, gentlemen. This has been wonderful.
Thank you so much, Peter. And continued to race. So I'd like to bring to the stage Chuck Nagy and his wife. Come on up here, folks. It is time to induct Chuck Nagy.
After you get nominated, you get a little chance to reflect back and wonder how this all happened. And I think I can speak for everybody that is in any sport. You never really think that one day you're going to get acknowledged to the point where you're going to get inducted into a Hall of Fame or be a hero or a superstar or anything. So I want to just say it's overwhelming, and It's just hard to believe. I don't know if it's really sunk in yet. Have to thank John and Anna Scotty for creating the Canadian Drag Race Hall of Fame. You know, without them, none of this would be possible. You know, there's many other people to thank, right from my father, who was a racing enthusiast. He got me hooked, took me to Daytona 500 in the 60s, and went to Watkins Glen to watch Formula One cars. We saw boat races, we went dirt track racing to spectate. And my brother, who was 10 years older than me, he had a service station. I was lucky enough to go there and work on my stuff so I could race. And fellow drag racers that showed me how to be tenacious and how to win. And a guy that I met in 1966 that showed me how to have fun at the racetrack. And there's nobody that knows how to have more fun than Wally Clark. And of course, my wife Candy, she's been with me for over 42 years, and she's been my biggest supporter. And you know, you can't do it if you don't have support from home. And I just feel like I'm a lucky guy, and you know, there's millions of people that don't even own a car or can't drive a car. I get to race them. I just really feel like I've been blessed. So, thank you so much.
Well done, Jack. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to present to you Pete Fundin Sr. Come on up here, Pete. On applaudit très fort Jeff Purley, 100 victoires nationales.
I'm Jeff, and I don't know what to say. I'm not very good at public speaking. If I am any good at doing anything, it might be working on a race car. And thanks. That's all I can say.
Now you're not going anywhere anytime soon, because we have another presentation, and this time one of your current teams that you're crewing in Pro Stock out on the West Coast. I'll let John Waldy fill you in on the details. John?
Thank you so much, Bob. We talked earlier today, John, Scotty, myself, and Bob, and decided that's a pretty limited group. There's only 3 people we know that have won over 100 national events as crew chiefs, Canadians. The late Dale Armstrong, Bernie Federley, and Jeff. And to quote Bernie the other day, he said, you know, the problem with Jeff is he's still racing, John. So his pro mod teams you alluded to, but his pro stock team is based out of California. It's Tom and Sharon Huggins. And they were so excited to hear about this night that Tom went on, as you know, you talked with him at great length. He said, we got to do something else for this guy because he's still racing. So we had a special jacket they did made up for him and shipped. And thanks to Tony Payton, he really did all this in 24 hours, got a hold of Bob, got the Creston, and then I lost the jacket. But we found it Friday about noon in the service department.
Perfect, thank you.
And we're just very proud of Jeff and everything he's done and contributed to the sport. And as Bernie said, I'm sure Dale would have echoed, still with us. This guy's still racing, so we got him a jacket that he could wear to the races and keep the blazer for good, Jeff. Congratulations.
Mesdames et messieurs, je vous présente Frank Elliott. He has traveled so far at 387 miles an hour. He is going for a new world record down under at over 550 miles an hour. He is actively involved in a alcohol funny car team as crew chief. He has raced himself. He just does all kinds of crazy things about speed and enjoys life to the fullest. Met him at Indy this year, and boy, he was in his element. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together and welcome our newest member to the Canadian Drag Racing Hall of Fame 2018 from the foothills of Alberta, where all the big guns are, Les Davenport.
When I started this journey about 50 years ago, I didn't realize when my hobby was going to turn into a career, but it certainly did. It's a pleasure to see all my old friends, see all my new friends I haven't met yet. I'd like to thank my family for attending with me, my wife for putting up with me for 55 years, and I'd like to thank you. Thanks very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Les. Les, what motivates you to go and do the Australia deal at 550?
Well, I guess because it's there. I mean, the opportunity, the car owner is a friend of mine I've known for 45 years. You know, it's an exceptional project, and they said, "You want to drive?" I said, "Hell yeah, why not? Why not take a chance? It is extremely risky, extremely challenging, but it's a hell of a lot of fun."
Couldn't have said it better myself, but I can tell you something. You're a strong man. Notre premier intronisé posthume ce soir, un compétiteur qui a participé pendant les courses d'accélération de la catégorie Superstock pendant plusieurs années. Sont trois frères et Lucien étant le plus vieux de ma mémoire. J'aimerais bien appeler à la scène sa fille Nancy Lemieux. Alors, mesdames et messieurs, une bonne main d'applaudissement pour l'intronisation de Lucien Bergeron dans la tente de renommée. Copie identique qui sera exposée dans notre tente de renommée, nos nouveaux locaux qui sont en construction présentement. Et printemps prochain, mai, début juin, nous allons avoir toute une soirée pour la grande ouverture. We all enjoy life to the fullest, and sooner or later we'll all pass. And that's why we induct even our good friends posthumously here. And tonight I'd like to bring to the stage Gary Cunningham's wife, Rosemary, and son, Travis Cunningham. Mesdames et messieurs, on présente l'époux de Gary Cunningham. Our last inductee posthumously tonight, we go back to the 60s, 1969, 1970, 71, won the U.S. Nationals 3 years in a row.
Thank you very much. My dad drove in an era when there was only two national events up to 1965, the Winter and Summer Nationals. And from 66 to 73, it was the Four Seasons Nationals, of course, with lots of other NHRA sanctioned competitions. But it was at the Nationals where it really counted. My dad was the second Canadian to set an NHRA record. First was behind Billy Kidd. He was the first NASCAR driver from Canada to set a record for NASCAR. And he was the first Canadian to set a record in 1967. He did that on his first run. So, 1967, Dad was a semi-finalist in the Summer Nationals, losing to the eventual winner of Virgil Cates. In 1968, he was runner-up in the Summer Nationals. And of course, 69 to 71, he won all three Summer Nationals events. Now the car, candy apple red, Fiat Percy also, was actually fiberglass, 70 pounds, was an original metal. And this car was a drawing card. Wherever he went, the advertisers were there, they put his car up, and people didn't leave until they watched Dad make his last run. When I was young, I never saw Carl lose a race. And I wore this shirt at his first competition. Can you hold it up? He'll hold it up. And during this race, I was so happy that my dad won that I fell through the bleachers and my nose bled. And it's pretty interesting. And between 1969 and 1971, Carl went on a 42-2 streak with a streak of 25 wins and 17 straight wins. And he earned the I guess it was the comment was, you can't be beat. And certainly he couldn't be beat. In 1971, he didn't race many competitions, but he only lost once. The only driver to beat my dad twice was Glenn Lazar, and one of them was because my dad stalled on the line. Well, when asked, a lot of people were interested in my dad going to Top Fuel in 1971. And all my dad says was, he said 300 is doable, 300 miles per hour is doable, but I'm not going to tell you. And he said, well, we still want you to drive. And he said, do you want me to get killed? And so now we've seen all the results of the high-speed Top Fuels in the past. And but he had the initiative and knew what was going to happen with these speed things, especially with the dragsters. In the bio, my dad was an artist and also a graphic designer. Graduated from art school and learned everything about cars by himself. And in the bio, I mentioned that he did a album cover for Columbia Records. But why talk about it if you can't see it? And it was actually for a Canadian West Coast Indian dances following Canadian culture. And here's the album cover for Columbia Records that he did. So now you've seen it. It's got it in the same design. My dad had the time to put this whole design in MacTac in our kitchen, which was huge. Unbelievable. Closing out, this is actually on Bob's behalf, and on the behalf of Canadian drag racing, is the Mohawk News. No, open it up this way. No. Canadian drag, here we go. Canadian drag racing from Mohawk, where we've got now a quintet of 5 Hall of Famers, including my dad, Billy Kidd, Bob Overton, you're on it too. And we've also got Jim Rainey and Scott Wilson. It's pretty amazing to see 5 people all on one sheet of paper. So yeah, Dad was pretty popular, and he put his car on absolutely everything. Thank you again. This has been quite the honor to be here and speak on behalf of my dad. Some people want to ask me, what made the car go so fast, and why couldn't anyone take out this car? It was a bunch of small things. It was tight suspension, had the Iski 550 camshaft, had specially designed aluminum ceramic bearings for the cam, JE pistons, and up until now, the greatest secret, apart from all those torsion bars, lack of string suspension in the back, and traction bars, I'm going to tell you right now that he used Rolls-Royce wheel bearings. They had to go to England for the back tires. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Grant. This is wonderful. And I hope you all appreciated the work that he had put together in presenting here tonight on behalf of his dad, Carl Rowland. Ladies and gentlemen, Grant Rowland and his wife, Evelyn. Félicitations. Thank you.